All right. Good morning. How we doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, man. I appreciate you being wanting to do this and help setting it up. And yeah, I'm very curious as to hear some of the insight that you have. And I'm just gonna change so I can. There we go. All right. So first off, I'm Nick. Good to meet you. I know that. Yeah, I've everything. All our interactions been through social media and on Discord. So I'm Nick. Good to meet you. And do you want me to call you Coach B or
Oh, you can call me Rufio if you prefer.
Rufio? Cool. Cool. All right. Cool. Good stuff. Um, so I mean, if you're all right with it, just gonna jump right into it. If you're good with
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally cool. I'm just here to like talk, hang out, help you out, educate people, whatever.
Right on. Okay. So I guess then starting off, the conversation on Discord was about, it started off as women going through the menstrual cycle, kind of, do trainers in the industry, do health professionals take that into account? And then speak into that, how far does it go into that? And then you brought some things up about the hormones, about the I'm trying to learn some terms here. Is it the trans population or trans community? Is that how?
I think it kind of depends on what country you're in, but I think in
Okay.
America, most people say like trans community.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, and then you brought the hormones up with the trans community, and just in generally speaking, my knowledge on the hormones has always been, I guess, minimal at best. When it comes to programming, when it comes to like going through a parkour with a client or an athlete, those things, like there was never really had the conversation about the hormones, never really had conversations about menstrual cycles, never really had conversations about possible transitions that could be going on with the body. So from my perspective, I guess I would just like to hear maybe just where you kind of started and the experience that you've had with your community, dealing with the clients, the athletes, and then anything that you can relate to yourself. I'm, like you said, I'm here to have a conversation. I really I don't know a lot about this. I want to start learning about this. I think it's a big piece. And like I mentioned on Discord, I started taking more note of it because I started having certain clients that, like they're coming in a couple weeks there, they're banging out the workouts. They're doing, they got the diet, the nutrition, the sleep, fine-tuned, dialed in. But then there would just be these periods where it's like almost just a crash in fatigue, the amount they were able to give out or into a session, sometimes headache, sometimes cramping. So then I just kind of started to see, like if someone's got so many pieces fine-tuned, they seem really dialed in so many different areas, what could be kind of happening to where there are these kind of, the up and down, the roller coaster almost. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if if you have anything you just want to jump off with straight from there, or how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you why I got into like hormones like pretty soon. I actually got into hormones before I even transitioned. So like I didn't
Okay.
even know what trans was until I was 18 years old. So I
Okay.
had no idea. I come from a very, very small town. And so my family has been in the health industry when it comes to my dad was a bodybuilder, a massage therapist, and then he broke his back. And once
All
he broke
right.
his back, we always realized that it just came genetically from his side because my grandmother had osteoporosis so bad that she literally went from 5'3" to 4'11". That's how bad it was. She looked like a turtle. It was so bad. And
Right.
then when that happens, your lungs cannot expand to the right amount that they should. And so one will die, it will stop working. And then they have to either remove it or you have to be on oxygen or something like that. I saw that at a very, very young age because my dad had me pretty late in life. And so watching my entire family's back start to deteriorate made me think what is wrong is in our bones. Like at the age of like 12, I was like, I already have back pain. I already have foot pain. I'm young, but my entire family's super athletic. My dad played college sports. My mom played college sports, like all of that. And so it kind of, I'm young, so I just kind of let it go. I'm curious, but I don't have time. I'm doing sports all year round. I'm in school. I'm trying to grow up. And
Right.
so kind of let it fall to the side. But then my dad passed away when I was younger, and I had to live with my grandma. So I watched her every single day and how she could not move and how she didn't do anything not to get that way, but she didn't do anything different to get out of that way.
Right. Right. Okay.
So her legs they were always very, very strong, because when you're in that hunched over position, you have a natural, beautiful hinge.
All
So
right.
when you get up, it's like glutes all day long, but you can't fully extend. So you never really work your core or anything like that. So I saw that. And I saw that the fact that her back was so hunched over, her thoracic spine wouldn't turn.
Okay.
Like there was none of this happening. It was always this, you know,
Okay.
or like it had to be tied in. But that also made her, for some reason, get really, really high testosterone when I was watching. And I was like, is it due to her structure? Is it due to what she's eating? And then I realized that she went through menopause way late in life. And so
Okay.
she was going through menopause when I saw her. And so I started asking her all these questions. And at this time, I had a period, but it was sporadic all over the place. But you're told back in the 90s that, like, your period's going to be sporadic because nobody studies women. Nobody actually cares in America. So they just say your hormones are going to be all over the place. You're going to have periods here and there and there. And if you're an athlete, you might not even have a period. And
Right.
so times that I didn't have periods, and I would be like, of course I wasn't sexually active, so I didn't care. I was just like, that's so crazy. But all of that had to do with when you go through menopause, okay, so when you're XX chromosomes, okay, when you're like born female at birth or whatever, when we get our natural testosterone, it comes from our ovaries.
Okay.
XY chromosomes come from your testes, okay?
Okay.
When we go through menopause, start to shut down and stop working, that's when all of our testosterone starts to actually come from our adrenal glands.
Okay.
So adrenal glands from menopause women, and most trans men that have had like hysterectomies, or even women that have hysterectomies or anything like that, they start to produce more testosterone in the adrenal glands. When you produce more testosterone in the adrenal glands, what's going to happen there? You're going to have more mucus. It's your adrenal glands. You're going to get more compacted. You're going to get hotter, yada, yada, all of that. So
Okay.
when you're going through menopause, or a trans person is taking, testosterone to lower their testosterone coming out of their ovaries, then that's when you get like those people that are really, really freaking hot. They can't do it outside anymore. They
Right.
can't go to that optimal level of like intensity, because their chest, they're literally on fire. Their face feels like they're on fire. Like you can't really experience the inside burn unless you've been there. And
Right.
for me, I was like, I never knew I was going to be trans. So, but when I became trans and I was 19, I got on testosterone. In that first 6 months, we go through menopause, and it fucking sucks.
Right. Right.
Like it's hot, it's weird, you're freaked out, your hormones are all over the place. Your testosterone goes from 300 to 1200, 300 to 1200. Like it's all over the place because your body's trying to figure out hormones.
Okay.
So, anyways, now let's dial down to how those hormones affect not just like XX chromosomes and XY chromosomes, but it really affects men too. So the less resistance training that XY chromosomes men do, the lower their testosterone is going to get.
Right.
So
Okay.
an optimal level is from 300 to 1,000. Nowadays, for some reason in America, they say it's like 500 to 1,000, which I think that's very high. Personally, on my opinion, just from being in every single level throughout the, 10, 12, 10, 12 years that I've been doing this, I want to stay at a 600. But like our levels go like this, whether we take testosterone or estrogen at all. Okay. So when somebody that is going through menopause, or a man or a transgender person has to take hormone replace therapy,
Right.
if they don't have enough money or they don't have the doctors that care to actually bring them in and get blood work every other week for the first few months instead of come in once a month, they're not going to know this.
Right.
They're going to like go in 1 month and they might have taken their shot 3 days later and it's like down at 300. But then they come in the next month and they took their shot the day before and it's at 1,000. And
Right.
they don't know whether it needs to be like, you know, 0.3 every 3 days or 0.5 every 5 days because they don't do that. And that happens to everyone that takes any hormones because hormones honestly rule our body.
Right.
Before I transitioned with testosterone, I didn't want to transition with testosterone. I am the most natural person I know in my life. I did not want to do it. I just wanted this because like this already came. I
Right.
was almost stronger as a woman than I am now, honestly. But so what I did is right then and there, I was a chef at the time. And so I started studying nutrition so hard. And then I realized that I can lower my estrogen levels and boost my natural testosterone levels. And that can happen in all human beings as long as they do it. So you can, you know, fix your body through nutrition and workout like we all believe because we're just energy going through life like that. But so if you take cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, bok choy, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, things like that, they're going to lower your estrogen, okay, the bad estrogens. And then they're going to be able to help you boost those natural testosterone levels. So men that only eat red meat, chicken, rice, green beans, that is not helping them when they get older. They were gonna their lower testosterone levels are going to be tanking and tanking and tanking. And then eventually, I mean, back in about the 90s, the average cisgendered man XY chromosome was starting to take hormone replacement therapy in their late 50s and 60s. Right. Now, the average XY chromosome cisgender man starts taking it in their 30s.
Right.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous because by evolution, we should be able, or cisgender men should be able to keep their natural testosterone levels at least until they get in their late 50s because they're moving, they're eating healthy. But if you sit in a chair all day long and nothing happens, and you only eat your little, you know, meal that is like, you know, chicken and rice, you're just going to be in this position. Nothing's going to be flowing. Nothing's going to be growing. Okay. So when it comes to certain things that make you fatigued, man, woman, trans person, whatever, it is still hormones, okay? And most people, especially depending on what state you're in, I mean, you know, certain states like California and Arizona and Colorado, they do have a little bit more education and give more education out there than they do in the South, like Tennessee and Georgia and Florida and stuff like that. Mm. So most trainers they can't even go to their doctors and ask these things. They have to go in search all over the place to ask these things. Mm-hmm. And so when you dive into your hormones and you want to study it, you have to study all the hormones. You have to study insulin. You have to study DHTA. You have to study, DHEA, all of that. If you were to take, like me, I was actually able to grow a tiny goatee. Mm-hmm. And I went from a C cup to an A cup. I don't have anything now, but I went to a C cup to an A cup in a matter of just 5 months with not taking testosterone. Okay. Because I was eating nothing but cruciferous vegetables, taking DHTA and taking biotin and creatine. Okay. Creatine is going to, you know, bind to those amino acids. Binding those amino acids help boost that natural testosterone. So you can literally change your genetics through your hormones. And honestly, if you're going to have a kid, you want to, because when we're born in the womb, so XX chromosomes, our mom and our dad both have an X chromosome. They're fighting in there. Whoever's is stronger wins. For you guys, XY chromosome, sorry, you just get it from your mom. If your mom was not athletic, you get that side of the family. Sorry about that. I mean, that's just the case. It's crazy. It's so cool though. But so like my dad always won. We all look like my dad, like maybe our eye, my mom, but they were both very athletic. So I'm sure they fought a lot. But you need to know that as well. Knowing someone's history of their family, not just their health, but like, you know, do they know what their father looked like? Do they know if their father had knee problems? Do they know about their, you know, their bones and all of that? Because if you know right now that your testosterone levels are low or your estrogen levels are high or anything like that, you can start to change them before you impregnate someone. And so can that woman. And that is going to help that child so much. That's why you see these people have very, very unhealthy kids, but when they were like 16, they were so healthy. Like the parents were super athletes, but from 16 to whenever they had that kid, they destroyed their entire genetics and had something that doesn't, you know, resemble them as much as like looks, of course, but not in the sense of like genetically athletic and stuff. And that's where a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, like I'm going to be athletic because of my family. I'm like, when did your dad have you? I like to say leftover genes. I am definitely the leftover genes. My brothers are 6'1", 6'3". I am 5'3".
Right.
And my mom, I mean, she was like, you know, 5'5". My dad was 5'8". So like, it's okay. But my had me very late. My mom had me very late. If they would have had me when they had my brother's 15 years older.
Okay.
He got it all. He got you know, he got the like, you know, the best hormone genes ever. And he is. I mean, he went to play professional baseball and all that. So like mad props to him. But when it comes to like changing like or knowing about your client, you need to literally know like the things that they're eating. Not because you want to help them lose weight, because if you're training through the fascia system, it doesn't really matter. And what I've seen with you, you are doing like through the fascia system, you know about the central nervous system. That, like what we do, we burn from the inside out. So we look how we feel. So if our insides feel skinny and tall, even though we don't have a six pack, we're flat and we feel healthier. You know, like I know that through the fascia system. And so if you're training the fascia system and it syncs up to the central nervous system and you're eating all that way, your entire body is just firing with energy. Same thing as if like when we get that shake when we're doing a muscle thing, that's just creating a new pathway that it needs to keep doing to make it that permanent pathway. Same thing with hormones. If your hormones go me, it has no clear path. You're never going to get that that energy constantly. You're never going to get, you know, that intensity all the time if you're doing this. And it depends on what day you're training that client, you know. So making them eat healthy cruciferous vegetables for everyone. We need to lower estrogen in women also because of, you know, breast cancer and things like that. So cruciferous vegetables are very important. Vitamin K is very, very important because of the blood. So for women that have low iron and they're going through like their period and they're trying to work out with you, dude, they're freaking trying, but they literally do not have the blood like hemoglobin to keep them, like their body is saying, you are dying, you need to lay down. I know you're trying, but you need to lay down. And vitamin K is going to help thicken that, and iron is going to help thicken that so that they don't like literally bleed out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that helps like when it comes to periods and when it comes to menopause. Like, I mean, nowadays, a lot of menopause women are able to actually take a very, very, very low dose of testosterone because testosterone doesn't actually increase your muscles. Science has proven, yes, it brings you more body awareness. That's why when you take testosterone, most of the time your lats grow because your central nervous system hits your lungs start to expand more, your diaphragm starts to grow more. And that's why most cisgender men and trans men have lats, just more body awareness from testosterone, because testosterone is just going to enhance your natural traits. If you take testosterone and you're a bus driver and you love being a bus driver, you're said principle, you're going to turn into that bus driver way faster.
Good.
If you are an athletic person and you take testosterone, you're going to actually want to work out more. You're going to dive deeper into your workouts. You're going to be super big. You're going to be athletic, you know? So that's what we've learned from that. And taking estrogen when it comes to like trans women, that right there, man, mad props to trans women. Like, I mean, I couldn't stay a woman, so mad props in general, but that is tough. They literally go from like high testosterone, natural, like maybe even 600 to nothing. And trying to lower a natural testosterone level is even more exhausting than just sitting around. Taking estrogen is crazy. That one rules our brain way, and like our dopamine and our adrenaline more than testosterone, because it is in the brain. Like estrogen has been linked to neuroplasticity and changing the way that we look at certain things and empathy and things like that.
Right.
So if you have a transgender woman client, they of course are going to be clearly more emotional when it comes to either if their natural trait was to be super hard, go get it. If they can't go get it anymore and push it, they're going to get really upset at themselves. And they're just going to have to figure out how to mentally do that with a therapist or with a coach and talk through it. Because no matter what, and same thing with like menopause or men that aren't taking, you know, hormone replaced therapy, when they do hit that 45, like it's hard. I mean, literally, it's like when we turn 25 and our brain changes a little bit. When we turn, when cisgender men turn 45, their bodies are done. Like it's a tank, and you got to figure out how to either move them that way, or you have to figure out how to give them DHEA, creatine. You got to get it in them. Right. Nowadays, we can't get our B12 and our D3 anymore. And maybe back in the 1950s, but our soil has been raped and pillaged and pumped full of so many pesticides that you would have to go way out of your way to grow your own vegetables to get the actual nutrients out of it.
Right.
No matter what, I know that if my clients are not taking vitamins, especially through like sublingual, because that's how you actually get it, because if your microbiome is off, it doesn't matter how many vitamins you take, you're going to poop it out because your microbiome is like, I can't do this. But if you take blood or, sublingual, you'll get it. So if you're not getting your D3, your B12, your L-carnitine, your coenzymes, things like that, your testosterone doesn't even have a chance to want to grow, because we need L-carnitine more than the average person thinks. L-carnitine is linked to, weight loss and all of that. So things with coenzymes are very important for our heart. If our heart's not healthy, then we're not going to be pumping the blood that we should, all of that.
Right.
All to say that our body's literally ruled by hormones.
Right.
So like, even there's many women that can't compete in a lot of Olympic sports. They can compete in some, but not a lot, because they train so hard that they raise their natural testosterone levels in their thick cells that it's above the natural woman's to compete in that sport. And the scientists know that they're not taking testosterone. They know it's coming from their thick cells, but the Olympics will not let it happen just because, which is crazy. So to me, when it comes to like competing, I mean, cisgender women kick my ass all the time because when it comes to hormones, that has nothing to do with your physical capabilities at all. That has to do with your growth of your genetics, with what you can do with your genetics. And like bodybuilders that take like Tren and Clin and all these things, of course they're growing. It doesn't matter what gender, what chromosome they are, because that is just a massive enhancer. It's hitting everything, and it's an androgenic, which is going to make it bigger. So once again, like for me, if it came down to like competing, I think everybody should just get their levels checked, and it doesn't matter. You should compete at your level. Like your level of testosterone, if you want to compete with that, people compete with it. If your level of estrogen is that, compete with them. Should be your choice, because once again, I said all the time, like a 50-year-old woman I know in this gym can outlift me, outrun me, and do all of that. And I'm taking testosterone.
Right.
That's what I want people to also take away from hormones is the hormones rule your body, but it doesn't mean that the more testosterone you take, the stronger you're going to get. If
Right.
anything, the more testosterone you take is going to aromatize and turn to estrogen. And a lot of bodybuilders and trans guys think, oh, I'm going to take some testosterone, I'm going to take a whole bunch. And then they actually look more feminine and they get tired and they get sleep apnea and all of that. And
Right.
so estrogen will never aromatize to anything. It
Right.
just stays estrogen or it turns into bad estrogen and turns into cancer.
Right.
So that's like the key. Either you have high testosterone or aromatized turns to estrogen, you have high estrogen, turns into cancer. Like there's
Right.
no way, don't go high on either one.
Right. So I mean, in terms of, so that's a lot of really valuable information there and great insight. So in terms of, I guess, working with your community, working with the people in your gym, and when you do have conversations and someone exhibits, let's just say fatigue, or they're describing to you, that like my energy feels like up, down, up, down. Are you regularly telling people or explaining that, hey, like maybe you should get your hormones checked? Or is this like a conversation you have up front, just kind of, hey, I think that this is something that you need to check out? Or is it like, hey, you need to go get this checked out?
This is like, especially when it comes to my online clients. My online clients, I am a little bit more like, oh, do it, like clients, but that's just the area that I'm in. I work with a lot of older people in my
Right.
area. And so, but yeah, it's like, to me, you can train with me. It's fine. I'm going to help you. It's going to be great, but you're never going to reach that optimal level and you're not going to reach your goal as fast as if
Right.
you go at it at a science level and not at I hate my body or I want to fix my body. I want to thrive in my body. I want to
Interesting.
grow old. Like
Right.
for me, I don't even put myself in the fitness industry. I put myself in the health and wellness industry because
Yeah.
yeah, I train people to be college athletes and I train people to look good and feel good. But in the end, if you are not reaching out and searching for something that's going to make you healthy and well, then it doesn't matter what you look like. When I was a bodybuilder and I was winning bodybuilding competitions, I was 8% weighing 135. I like what? That's gross. Like the only reason I had no sex drive. Like, yeah, I looked great, but I felt like crap.
Right.
And like I'm 10% body fat. Yeah, you can only see my obliques, but I don't want to make my front line tight anyways.
Hmm.
So, but I'm healthier. I feel better. I don't feel like a lot of times when I was a bodybuilder, I got to work out for 2 hours, man. I got to sleep for 4. Oh crap, I got to go to work. Oh, I got to go to sleep. Like
Right.
for me, if you don't know your blood levels, your hormone levels, what supplements you should be taking, what foods you should be eating, how much water you should be drinking. If you're not doing all of that first, then we are just going to be doing a breathing and wellness treatment because there's no point in me throwing something at you so hard because you're going to tank. That's why nobody's like, most of my people will stay sustainable because I teach them from the beginning, it has to do with your health. And then once you feel healthy, it becomes motivation. And then motivation turns into work. And then work turns into workouts. And then workouts turns into the said principle, which is whatever you place upon it, it will become. But
Right.
if you don't start from the beginning, it doesn't matter with your kids. There's people out here that train their kids like crazy, but they still are not nearly as good as that other kid that is eating healthy and is moving in different ways other than the repetitive movements of the strength and conditioning or their workouts or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't, for me, I say moving with meaning. Like every day I move with meaning. I
Nice.
I actually only work out 3 days a week at the freaking most. At the
Right.
freaking most. The other time I am sitting properly. I'm literally thinking about my toe when I turn my shoulder. I'm literally thinking about everything. So like because I know the fascia system, I'm burning so much when I just freaking wake up. And
Right.
if I don't eat healthy and know when to rest, then that's when I like either drop a whole bunch of weight, or my body is just going to sit still and not progress because it can't. It has no food. It has no nothing to go off of. It doesn't have dopamine to even enjoy the workout anymore. If you don't enjoy the workout anymore, your energy, your spirit, your hormone spirit is not going to succeed. If you hate your workouts, your energy of your spirit is a hormone. It will hit your dopamine. And if your dopamine is not working, your central nervous system isn't as happy. It's not going to fire into that shoulder. You don't care anymore. I just got to get done. I just want to get done. Instead of like, oh, they're beautiful. Oh, they're opening. Oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
When you think about your food, you still are going to hit a hormone. When you think about it, that's why people that pray, like whether you believe in God or not, if you look at your food and you enjoy it and you thank it, you will then like it more. I eat ice cream all the time. You want to go look at my Instagram? I look fine. I eat vegan ice cream, but I look at my food as in like, man, dude, I finally get to enjoy this instead of like, oh my God, this is so many calories. Like I'm gonna get fat. That's still energy, and that still creates a hormone, a dopamine hit, a suppression of something.
Yes.
So once again, when I talk to my clients and I approach all of them, I don't care. I don't ever look at gender, and I don't even see fat anymore. I literally, my girlfriend says I just see like muscles walking. And it's true. Like, I don't know why. I think I'm like very OCD, but I'm just like, oh my goodness, their ankle, baby. Look at their ankle.
Heck yeah.
So like to me, any client that comes to me, I need to know everything about them. And I actually go down to the point of knowing like when they need to do their budget, because if somebody stresses on paying me and then they come and they work out, they're going to be stressed about that workout. But they're also, their cortisone levels are going to be so high. They're going to be inflamed. They're either going to be in pain, or they're not going to be able to translate that. Yeah, they're not going to be able to translate that body awareness into that certain muscle. So stressed out clients, sometimes when I make them just chill out and relax and I know that I'm okay and I don't need that money, the next week they thrive like crazy. Like we need that. We need more rest as humans than we think. We are not meant to go, 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 go. Like we're literally meant to wake up, breathe, find our food, go home, eat our food, and lay down in the sun. We are not made to be working the way we're working. The more we lay down on our backs in the grass and really get that energy from grounding and the D3 from the sun, the more you internally will breathe and let go. The more you let go, the more your ribs aren't flared, the more you're not tight. We as humans are the tightest that we've ever been.
Oh yeah, I feel it. Yeah.
Ever. And gravity does feel heavier because us that are not baby boomers, even though baby boomers don't look that great and they have like Agent Orange and all that stuff, they still have better genetics than us because they were eating better foods. And nowadays, a lot of people can't even afford to get anything like an actual vegetable. Some areas of the country, they go to dollar stores to eat 24/7 because they can't get any further.
Wow.
And that is creating another generation of unhealthy people, another generation of unhealthy people. And then they're all like back models back in the 50s, super beautiful with a flow. You watch a model now.
Right.
They just swayed back, their butts tucked under, because gravity has hit them here and nobody really taught them how to breathe, or America told them to shallow breathe, be skinny. And being trans, we try to be skinny all the time. The smaller I am, the more I am going to feel bloated. I'm not going to want to eat those crucifix vegetables because they have fiber. They fill me up, yada, yada. And then I'm just creating more tightness. And women do not want to spread out because America told them to be small. But if you push your belly out, it doesn't matter because you are already that size. Whether you're fat or not, it doesn't matter. So if you breathe through your entire body and you expand as far as you can, guess what? Whatever fat's on there is out there. But the muscles inside need to get bigger. They need to be wider. And that's when breathing hits that central nervous system, and then getting all those coenzymes hit that heart, and all those coenzymes and everything hit the dopamine. You relax, you're out there, you're up taller. And that's just like, that's how I look at hormones. That's literally how my entire like process of thinking of hormones. It always came down to food to begin with though, because I knew that food really is the reason that things happen. It really is. Like, I mean, hormones are in all of our foods, but also like our microbiome. Touching plastic, I'm not going to touch a plastic bottle every day. That's going into my microbiome through my pores. Plastic has estrogen on it, bad estrogen. So I'm not going to do that. Not even if it says BPA free. No, it's still plastic. It still has estrogen in it. And so anything I touch that is going to be or around me and I'm breathing in, that's going to hit all of my hormones too. And that's what everybody needs to know too. If you really want to be a super healthy human being, then you have to go out of your way. You have to be weird. I don't ever wear shoes and just like my Vibrams. And maybe if I have to wear shoes to go somewhere, then I will put on some nice shoes. But I want to feel the minerals in the rocks. I want to feel the soil. Like I want to feel all of these things. And I want to go out of my way of having a microwave in my house, earbuds, anything like that, especially like, I mean, that's literal plastic that has radio waves in your ear. You now have not only estrogen seeping through your pores of your whole entire face that could then create an entire genetic awareness of being soft and not strong, but now you have all these radio waves that you don't even know that are hitting you. And then it cause like a tightness in your face. Like, and then that's going to lead down the line.
Right. Man, oh man. Yeah. There's a lot of what you said. Like I have not taken it to the extent of like the plastic or the earbuds. Like I haven't taken my being to the extent of that, but there is a lot of what you said that I do resonate with, I do relate to, and just in terms of creating that being from the inside out. And I mean, I guess, right. Like I've been doing what I've been doing I've been training people for about 10 years. But before that, I was an athlete growing up. And so my mom had breast cancer, and I saw kind of with the whole hormones thing, like I just saw my mom go through that crazy transition, from having the cancer, working through chemo, and there was, weight fluctuations, and how her posture changed, and the food she ate changed, her mood, like everything just went chaotic in a way. And so I've always continued to try and fine tune what I'm putting into my body, because first and foremost, I felt that was going to be the biggest factor. And then after that, it was not only that, but I started to see I would eat certain things and start to feel a certain way. I would take a certain pot, I could be like sitting here more hunched over. And then I realized after 20 minutes, my anxiety has spiked, like these things all of a sudden just started to show up, and they made more sense as time went on. So it's so interesting, because very rare do I come across another individual who has created that awareness for themselves and really puts it out there and shares that. So that's really cool. That's awesome. And I know that your community has probably taken such valuable steps forward and progress and things like that, because it dives a lot deeper than the actual workout. It dives so much deeper than the actual program. And I love that you said with the whole financial aspect, like if someone's stressed about paying for the session, like that session in itself is almost useless in a way. Like you're taking that, you're almost degrading their system as opposed to building it up. And I think that's awesome, man. So I wrote that down. I think that's awesome. I mean, that's such a cool way to relate to what we do, to what you're trying to build, how you want to influence, how humans should carry themselves on a daily basis. So, I mean, I've written down a ton of notes. There's great insight in this. I appreciate your time. This is so cool.
Yeah, we can talk anytime. Honestly, I mean, there's so much education I can get you out there, especially when it comes to that. I mean, when it comes to trainers, like we do what we want to do. Well, most of us because we like it. But honestly, like even when it comes to somebody come to a session and they feel stressed out and financially they can't pay, you want to breathe, don't you? So why don't you just
right.
breathing session? Now everybody's chill. You're chill for your next client. They're chill. They get to go about their day, and they might even pay you at the end.
Right. Yeah, seriously. Hey, I feel way better Here you go. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. I do
For sure.
footwork for free sometimes, and people just give me money because I'm like, dude, I can't stand here in the gym and look at your feet. I'm sorry. Like, you are in pain, homie.
Right, right. Yeah, that's that. So I mean, and I guess just real quick, I was thinking about something as we were going in the sublingual. So I worked in some of the nutrition field for a few years there. So that was a big part of relating some information to certain people that I would say on a daily basis, especially those that were buying more supplements at one time. And um, I was often in this place of, hey, like, have you thought about taking the liquid version? Have you thought about taking a sublingual? Have you thought about taking something that's not pill form or depending on what it was? Because a lot of I just felt a lot of times like I knew that what you're saying with the microbiome, like I knew that maybe the gut health, I knew that maybe the intestine or something along the lines was not on track. So my thought process was, why don't you try and get it into the bloodstream sooner than that so that you have a chance at using it? So when it comes to supplementation, you have a client who's deficient in certain vitamins. The hormones could be equaled out or varied a little bit differently. Do you recommend certain supplements? Do you recommend they take them a certain way? How does that look for you? We got like 4 minutes here, so if you
I
want to
got
just
Yes.
yeah.
So like when it comes to sublingual, of course, that's the best way because like I said, like most of us have been eating processed foods at a young age and all that nowadays at our age. And so our microbiome's off. And so for me, I could literally take a vitamin and I will see it in my toilet.
Right.
But and yeah, that's how bad it is. So yes, I do tell everyone to try and take it sublingual. And I do offer the ones that I have done so many tests on and all of that and actually got like research from the wellness industry, not the fitness industry.
Right, right, right,
From the wellness industry,
right.
I get all of my oil stuff from wellness industries, not the fitness industry. I mean, I love us, but a lot of people up there just want your money. And so I'm
Right.
like, I don't care, take it orally. So I make most of my clients take B12 orally, of course, or some around here, they like to go get the shots. I take a shot all the time, so I don't want to freaking do that. So, but also doing it every single day, in the morning and at night. Yes, B12 gives you energy, but it's the end of the night. Your REM cycle should be end anyway, so you can take it again. And
Right.
then the D3, of course, you need to be taking.
Right.
L-carnitine you can take orally. Coenzymes you can take orally.
Yeah.
A lot of terpenes, nettle root, gojo bee, and ashwagandha. All of those, I honestly tell them to get all of those
Mhm.
because that's a baseline of support,
Right. Okay.
right? And that's all sublingual. And then when it comes to like certain tinctures and things like that, CBD infusions, things like that, I also tell them to do it orally. If I have a stressed out client and they're open to CBD, then I will recommend a tincture for either sleeping or comfort,
Mm.
or I'll even go out of my way to get the GABA because GABA hits your
Right,
mind
right.
and your body.
Yeah.
So a lot of my 45-year-old men, they're not in the mood when they get off work and their body hurts. I literally will be like, go in your bag, get your GABA, spray it in, and we'll like do our stretches and we'll go. In about 10 minutes, they're ready to go.
Right.
Because when it's oral, it's so fast.
Hmm.
But even if we take anything through even if you like were to take, psilocybin or acid, if you don't take it orally, you digest it, it's going to take roughly 15 to 30 minutes anyway.
Right.
But
Right.
if we take it orally, it's like, boom, we're there. And you
Mhm.
want that fast action. Like you want to wake up in the morning, you want to be like, man, I need my B12, I need a Z3, like I need all my zinc, everything, like, and then go out your day. You don't want to be like, I wonder if any of these are going to work.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
have no hope. You hear all these people taking vitamins and they never say they feel better. Of course they don't feel better. They're not taking even the quality. I mean, it's not even FDA. You found it at Walmart, homie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like quality over quantity. If I can't get it in quality, then I'm not going to get it. I don't care.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I hear that. I hear that. I'll
Like
definitely.
always, like, I mean, you cannot, as a trainer, unless like I have a nutrition certification, but I will not diagnose and I will not say I can cure a client, but I
Right.
will say that my case studies, because I've been doing case studies with my clients for the past at least 7 years, the ones that will allow me to do it. And I also tell my trainers, like my mentors, to ask your client if they're open to a case study. Give
Right.
them a free
Nice.
supplement. Give them a free supplement for 30 days. Train them a specific way.
Ah,
See what happens. You yourself as a trainer needs to have case studies. You're
right.
you're just going to be following that NASM or that ISAA, and you're going to believe what people say unless you do your own training.
I like that. So a few of my colleagues, we've done case studies when it comes to like movement patterns, like movement dysfunction. I've never thought to do a case study like, here, try this for 30 days. These are some of the experiences. That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
I mean,
Totally.
you did it with yourself. You case studied yourself to get where you are. You got to
Right.
case study them, and you telling them about it. At least they know that they're doing something that you've never done before. But you're training them the way that they've always trained. You're just adding a supplementation that if they've never taken L-carnitine in 30 days, especially with the fascia training and the movement way you do it, they will drop 15 pounds. I guarantee you. Do it. Ask somebody. Get that.
Right.
Because
Heck yeah.
that is like that, especially if it's oral, like that is the biggest thing when it comes to my weight loss clients is give them that supplement, hold them accountable, keep training them the way that you are, and it will blow their mind.
Right on. Right on. I hear that. Hey, Rufio, I appreciate it. I appreciate the time. I appreciate all the insight. I'm definitely going back to this. I'm super excited because there's a lot of information in this. But yeah, I'm sure I'll see you on Discord. We'll chit chat and have a good rest of the weekend. All right.
Yeah, man, you too. I'm gonna send you some videos just because we connected. I trust you as a good guy, and I want to give you some more in-depth info. So I got like a few lectures that I can shoot over to you, and then that'll help you out because that's what we're here
Awesome.
for.
Awesome. Sounds good, Rufio. Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you.
See you later, dude.